Hi there, Nosipho here from Intentional Living, and today we are bringing you another episode of Intentional Relationships. This is my partner and boyfriend, Omega.
Hi.
Today we are speaking about how to complain responsibly in your relationship.
Ooh. Well, I think my philosophy is to see each relationship as having like a customer care department, where both parties are like customers. And, customer care, their main job is to service you as the customer and receive your complaints and deal with your complaints. And obviously, as part of being customer care, the way you speak to the customer is in a reasonable, soft tone, understanding, and most importantly, you listen, you take in what the customer is saying, and then you communicate effectively to the customer to try find a solution.
Okay.
I have a similar philosophy about relationships, where between you and I, or between a man and a woman, or between two people that are in a relationship, there should be an open line of communication, and each party should be able to say, hey, I'd like to relay a complaint or an issue that I have, or whatever word they use, as long as it's not a word that's like attacking the other person, right? So there's obviously how to complain. And then as you deliver your complaint, it should be clear and concise in terms of like, what is it that maybe you're feeling, like you're not feeling happy about, or something that is bothering you, or something that you have an issue with, and you just become very clear in terms of how you deliver that message. And then the other person obviously receives it, and maybe should ask questions, to clarify it, to have clarity, because it's a good idea to ask clarifying questions, because every time like we communicate, or every time people communicate, we don't always get like what the other person's saying because we're different people, so it's a good idea to just be very, very clear. And so from there onwards, that's when a solution can be developed. But essentially, it's about two people developing their own model of how do we complain in this relationship. Our one is obviously the customer care model, where you'll say, okay, I'd like to relay a complaint, or I have an issue with something, and then introduce the topic and then discuss it. And then obviously sometimes layer it with a little bit of positivity, so that way it lands nicely. But yeah, that's my philosophy. Address it the same way you would as a customer care agent. If you're the person receiving the complaint, and if you're the person giving the complaint, then be very clear and concise about obviously what you're hoping to happen, and be reasonable. Don't just say, hey, I wish you had wings like a bird, something that you can't do. Just be very, very clear and work on reasonable solutions, and then everything should go well. As long as you don't like attack each other and start having it become like personal, then yeah, it should go well.
On my side, women are emotional, and we tend to, when we have a grievance or something that is a sore point for us, we tend to want to address it immediately. And that's with me as well. Like, I used to be the person that if something is irritating me, I need for you to hear it now, and you need to hear it as I feel it, because I'm feeling this way. If you tell me park and I now need to say it some other time, it doesn't hit as much. It doesn't give me that impact of okay, I felt like I've been heard, and the feelings that I'm feeling have like sort of been channeled in the right way immediately as they happen. But when I came into the relationship with you, I learned to actually be more cognizant of, this is how I feel, and this is the story that I'm feeling. I'm telling myself about what's going on that is making me feel this way. And perhaps to look back and stand back, is it an appropriate time for me to actually lay this grievance on? Am I at the right place? Is my partner ready to receive what I have to say right now? Can I actually ask them, are we able to talk right now about something that is an issue for me? And let that be the directive that gives me an indication that I can speak about what it is that I have a grievance, rather than just going full in right now because I'm feeling a certain way. So that number one would be that core sort of perspective to take. Is it the right time to voice whatever it is that is my complaint right now, or can I save it for a more appropriate time later, and not use my feelings as my excuse of now like vomiting out everything that I'm feeling. So that is number one, and something that I've really had to learn. Realistically, between the two of us, I've really had to learn that and step back and just actually see, is it me? Do I really have a problem with this, or is it just because of how it's whatever situation's played out is how it's playing out, because I maybe wanted it a different way, or is it really something that really genuinely I have an issue with? That's going to now frame if I really have to tell him about this, or is it something that is just a preference for me. Secondly would be just taking a breath in the middle of that sort of complaining and going about the narrative of I have an issue with this. Taking a break and stepping back and seeing within myself what's going on. What is making me have this sort of grievance, or what is it a need? Is it a true need, or am I just venting or wanting things a certain way, which really can't be, which lends itself to the other point that I've just said of don't react emotionally, but plan out what it is that you're going to complain about. And the other part of it, I would say, frame. How are you going to say this to your partner? How really are you going to say this so that it doesn't come across as you are making me feel? You did this. And frame, like think about how are you going to tell it to them in a manner where it still considers them and still has you responsible for your own feelings, because nobody can actually make you feel anything that you don't want to feel. So the fact that you're feeling a certain way is your own choosing to feel that way, regardless of what's happening. It's your own perception that's making you feel that way. If you were to look at it in a different way, perhaps you wouldn't feel the way that you're feeling. So you have to own your feelings when you're complaining. It's not you made me feel, but I feel this way because I am thinking that this is what's going on. You're taking ownership there, and you're taking accountability for how you're feeling, and not now pushing certain things on your partner because they are now doing things to make you feel. And then I think that's the most important, actually. Like, frame it in a way that is receivable to your partner, where it's not bashing, that is going to have you being accountable. And also, don't raise up now correlations of things that happened in the past that you're now framing the complaint that you have right now around. Be it what you're talking about now, what you're complaining about now is what is going on right now, and you're not drawing on old things that happened whenever it is that it happened to say that now there's something that's going on that's now a pattern. So that's it for me around this topic. Complain responsibly using the different methods that we've just given to you. Do you have any other thing?
One last thing I would definitely say is, don't let whatever has happened that is causing you to complain to stop the love. A lot of people, what tends to happen is when they have a complaint, like they stop being nice, they stop being kind, they stop doing things for their partner. Like literally, like the love story literally stops until the complaint is resolved.
Which is understandable, because if you're feeling strongly about a topic, or strongly about something that's been done, it kind of, as a woman, you kind of just, it jumbles together into one story, and you can't now move past it until you clear out the air with this one happening here. I mean, it affects other issues, but maybe step away from that woman thinking and that woman mentality of everything has to be fixed here first before I let other things happen, and just deal with what's happening as a separate entity from the rest of your life, because that does tend to get detrimental in terms of the quality of the relationship.
But I think that's what we have for today.
That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment and let us know what your thoughts are and how you maneuver conflict in your relationship and complaining responsibly to your partner. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.